Hello, everybody. How are you today? I am Helena, and I just want to welcome you to your Small Business Workshop 101. I am the hostess with the mostest of What's Poppin' USA, the Small Business Home Shopping Network. And recently, I've been getting a lot of questions on how to start a small business. And with that, I decided to go ahead and write a book to give like a dummy's guide, I guess you could say, for business. So that way, there is a blueprint, a step-by-step process that you will have that makes it so easy for you to go ahead and get your business started. So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about me first before we go ahead and dive into this book. So again, my name is Helena, but most people call me Lena. I live in the metro Atlanta area, and I recently turned 50 years old. Ooh, big accomplishment. I have been retired now since 2012. So that's 10 years, right? And it's been a journey for me to kind of get started all over again, out of the workforce, and then not really joining the workforce, but really going into my own thing to get working and to get started. So my background is in art, and I also, let me shut this off, I'm so sorry. My background is in art, graphic design, and I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. You know, being a super uberly creative person, I really did kind of want to go into art, but I also wanted to be a doctor. There was kind of a little bit of a reality factor there, because going into art, you know, all the famous artists are dead. And so I was like, how was I going to make a living? You know, drawing and painting and sketching. And I really didn't want to, at that time, go into advertising. I was terrified of it. So I chose to go, at that time, instead into biology or the medical field in college. And that kind of like blew up in my face because I couldn't get past chemistry, right? So that kind of forced me back into the art arena. And even though I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, I always kept it tucked in my pocket. So let's fast forward through the years. Most of my job space has been in the government. I went into the military at age 26. I was in the Air Force, and then I went ahead and let me turn this off. Then I went ahead and worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, and that is under Medicare. And I used to work on the beneficiary line for South Florida, Texas, and Puerto Rico. So I am bilingual, speak 2 languages. And so all of my job was customer service. So, and so the last job that I had was actually, don't tell too many people, at the IRS. And that's where I actually resigned, retired, exited stage left, right, snuck out of the government deal. And I've been kind of like just doing nothing really for the last 10 years, being a stay-at-home mom, wife, you know, cooking dinner, going to the field trips and the, you know, all of the school outings and such. But when COVID came, you know, a few years ago, it kind of, what I like to say is slapped everybody into the inside, right? Everybody who was super social butterflies, just like, you know, even though I was a housewife and I was at home, still very social, go out, hang out, do whatever. But, you know, when COVID came, everybody got real introspective all of a sudden because they were in isolation and cooped up. People left their jobs because they had to come and be home for their children being homeschooled. Daycare shut down, just like everything shut down. And so those people who didn't have PTO or didn't have a flex schedule or were unable to work from home, they, got stuck at home, kind of like me. And so now we're all sitting around wondering what to do. And so we needed income or they needed income. I just put myself in the needed something to do category and went ahead and started doing a lot of artsy fartsy stuff. A lot of people started doing crafts. How many people have you seen now coming up with, they've got t-shirts, they're making tumblers, they're making ashtrays. And I actually, what prompted me on this journey was this right here. This is a resin ashtray that my husband actually got from a cousin of his out in the Bay Area. Shout out to Miss Kim Combs. That was my first introduction to resin. And I was kind of hooked and wanted to kind of learn how I could jump on it and started doing it too. So I'm in the Facebook groups. I'm doing all of this, tumblers and glitter everywhere. And oh my God, it was just like, a lot. I've created like a room full of stuff. I got supplies everywhere. And then I started realizing I had a really hard time selling this stuff, right? And then the more I was in my Facebook groups, I realized other women and other small businesses were having kind of like the same issue. They've got all this cool stuff, or they do all these cool services, and they don't know how to get themselves out. They're so used to being one-on-one at those festivals or fairs or pop-ups. And now all of a sudden, that stuff was like shut down, right? And so people had to pivot. And they're like, okay, what can I do? And then throw into it our stimulus payments, right? And then, or that PPP loan. And so people started jumping on the small business bandwagon, and entrepreneurs, babepreneurs, just started like exploding all over the place. And I love that. I think that's wonderful for people to embrace, that hustler in them, that go get 'em spirit, that wanting to do better for themselves, for their family, to, leave something behind more than what they grew up with, provide that for, their family now and generations going forward. I feel you, like in my soul. I feel you, right? But we've got to learn to do business the proper way. There are so many small businesses flying under that radar, that legitimate radar. And eventually that's going to come to bite them in the butt. And so as I progressed through my years and had several small businesses myself, I've had to do some kind of like introspection and kind of sleuthing as to why and what happened with my previous businesses. And then, moving forward with what's poppin' USA, right? And so there are so many people that started coming to me as like, I guess, the small business mentor, because, as I'm going through my own journey and I'm trying to help other people, to help other businesses to raise them up to that legitimate level, right? I've got a small business directory, but you can't just get on it just because you got a small business. I got to see you. I got to put eyes on you, your websites, your social media, your products, because I need to know what I'm putting my little stamp on and saying that you're cool. And the more I started interacting with these small businesses on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, across social media like we all do, I started noticing that a lot of them are not on their P's and Q's. And so hence, they kept coming to me, or many would come to me and ask me different aspects of small business dumb, especially with starting and branding and social media. And this is a learning curve. This is not something that, all of a sudden, like, we know how to do. But, you know, as an older person, this was a huge learning curve. I'm 50. Again, TikTok, in the beginning, I was friggin' terrified of it. But now, TikTok is my friend and I'm cool. And I've got over like 6,400 followers. Go figure on that one for this old 50-year-old, you know, half a century chick. That's awesome. But how did I do it? I actually am going to show you how I did a lot of what I'm doing with this book. So I want to go through this book and teach you an overview of how to get your business started. So this is the book that I wrote because everybody kept asking me questions. And because they kept asking me questions, I got tired of answering them, and repeating myself. So here is the book. It's called Make Your Small Business Dreams Come True, Lena's Easy Peasy Guide and Journal to Starting a Small Business. So Lena, that's me. Again, my first name is Helena, and that's in English, but in Portuguese, my name is Elena. So as Elena, my nickname is Lena. So you are more than welcome to call me Lena as well. And that's Lena if you're curious or you need to contact me. So in this book that you can find on Amazon, I will go ahead and put the links in there. Again, it is Make Your Small Business Dreams Come True, Lena's Easy Peasy Guide to Starting, or Guide and Journal to Starting a Small Business. Again, it is on Amazon. And if you actually look in the What's Poppin' USA Facebook page, it's in the shop. So you can buy it straight from Facebook. It'll take you straight to Amazon, so you can buy it as well. Or if you don't want to go the Amazon route, you're more than welcome to go ahead and contact me, and I will go ahead and ship it out for you. I'll put that information in afterwards. But let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you're going to start a small business, you got to think about, okay, where do I start? What am I passionate about? And I say this because if you're not going to follow something that you are uberly passionate about, your business will not last. Okay, let me repeat that to you. If you do not follow your actual passion, your business that you're running under your management is not going to succeed. And here is the reason why. It's going to get hard. It's going to get hard. And if you are not 100% passionate, 100% gung-ho about what you're selling, the service that you are providing, when it gets tough, when it gets hard, you're not going to keep it up. That's just real talk. That's just real honest to goodness talk. So you need to find out what it is that you're passionate about. In finding out what you're passionate about, what is your personality type? I'm going to put my glasses on here because the old chick can't see. And I'm going to look right at the book and say, okay, so what's your personality type? I count me, I always use myself as the example, not to single anybody else out, right? But I come up with basically 4 personality types. You've got the artsy-fartsy, right? And I actually fall under the artsy-fartsy, the artsy-tartsy, artsy-fartsy personality. Then you've got the, what I call totally anal, bossy, or OCD. That is the second type of personality. Third type of personality is going to be your super friendly and talkative. And then your fourth personality is going to be your business, and hustle personality. So you have 4 personalities that I target in the book. And depending on your personality is also going to depend on what you are going to target as your business. So again, what are you passionate about, right? So as an artsy-fartsy person, graphic designer, web designer, fashion designer, or jewelry, tattooing, wall murals, party favors, crafter, house or apartment stager, makeup artist, floral arrangements, and or decor or design. These are some of the ideas that you might follow or you might come up with for your small business passion because you are artsy-fartsy, right? Remember I said, unless you are really, really on your art game and you're creating and you're painting all the time, it is extremely difficult, as I found, to make a living from just selling art. So you kind of have to pivot sometimes. So now my strengths and my weaknesses, right? I love to create. I am super artsy-fartsy. But when it comes to being that artsy-fartsy personality, there are some things that I'm just not good at. And so when you think about your passion, think about what you'd like to do with it and think about your strengths and your weaknesses, right? So I actually went through and wrote down some of mine because I have, several weaknesses in that go in with my strengths. And so this is just a generalization that I said most people, right? When you are that artsy-fartsy person, and I fall right into this category, it says most artsy-fartsy people are not organized, right? And you're kind of socially inept. They're usually so eclectic or quirky, maybe just weird, and typically misunderstood. And they aren't the best with time management either. So if you think about that, a lot of artists, they're painting, they're creating, they're doing their thing, total lack of time management. They get lost in their creation when they're creating, right? Think of even maybe authors that are writing, that's being creative. They get lost in their art. They're sitting there in there. If you like to garden, Mom, I see you online here with me. If you like to garden, how long have you been outside before you realized you had been out there way too long, right? You get caught up in it. So we're not always the best with time management, not always the best with organization. And a lot of times artists also are very introverted. And, think of, some of the famous ones like Van Gogh. How weird was he? He cut off his ear and all that good stuff. He had mental illness, so along with that artsy-fartsy personality, just by personality type, you also have certain quirks to your personality. But that does not mean that you cannot turn that artsy-fartsy passion into an actual job, right? So my strengths are I'm very articulate, easy to talk to, creative. I've got good writing skills. I actually have good organization skills, and I'm very social. My weaknesses, super bossy. My family members will tell you that. I have a tendency to overwhelm myself. I do lack self-confidence. You might not be able to ever tell, but I do. I've got a potty mouth. I will cuss in a heartbeat, and I am so fucking sorry, but it's just me. I can be critical at times of other people, but mostly of myself as well. And I have very little patience, like none, right? So all of that is, I've got some good and some bad. What is my passion though, right? What falls underneath my passion, and what can I bring in with these strengths and these weaknesses in my passion? So I will tell you that I have 3 passions. One is art and creativity. I love to create stuff, whether it's cooking, gardening, painting, putting stuff together, puzzles, it's creating. So I love to create, okay? The second thing I love to do is to help, to nurture. I'm always trying to take care of somebody or something constantly. Okay. And the third thing I love to do is talk. I love to run my mouth. So we've got art, creativity, nurturing and helping, and talking a lot. How do you build that into a business? How do you turn those three passions into a business? Well, voila, here I am. Look what I've done. I love to run my mouth. So here I am constantly talking to you, constantly, interacting with small businesses and even shoppers that are looking for certain items or certain services. I actually reroute and direct them to you. So, get in good standing with me and let me know about your business and become Lena approved, because when you have my stamp of approval, I actually send you out there to be to the world. So that way, if they need you, I'm sending them to you. And what else have I done? I'm helping, right? As I'm running my mouth, I'm helping shoppers and I'm helping small businesses right at the same time, because I'm partnering y'all together. You can't even beat that with a stick. And look, I'm helping small businesses right now to teach y'all how to be better small businesses, right? And then I'm using my creativity. I'm constantly creating. Look, y'all, I even made this shirt. And if I turn off the lights, this even glows in the dark. So I got it in the daylight and at nighttime. But I'm using my creativity constantly. You see me TikTok dancing, and my old ass ain't got no business going out there and doing some TikTok dancing at my age and doing them challenges, but I'm doing it because why? I'm creative. So I'm always, thinking of creating different ways to interact and engagement and content. You see that? I just combined all of my passions into a business. Me running my damn mouth, me helping people, and me being creative. I went and wrote a book on y'all asses. Look at that. Creativity. So you can pivot. Just because I'm not up there sloshing paint on canvas anymore as, trying to market myself as an artist like that, but I'm actually doing a different form of creativity. I pivoted, right? So depending on what your strengths are, your weaknesses, and, in the book, you can go ahead and work through these and see what would be best for you, because you may not be what I do. My daughter is very similar to me, but she wants to be an artist and do tattooing. Okay, so that's she pivoted with her drawing and painting. She took it to the next level. Well, in this day and age, it's a little bit easier because we have social media. When I was younger trying to do that, and my art hustle was not that great because it was word of mouth and the back page of a magazine or a flyer, a newspaper or something, because we didn't have that. But now, you use the tools that are available to you. You can't be afraid of that. So let's jump to chapter 2 in this book, and that is structure setup, how you're actually going to set your business up. And this gets a lot of people stumped, okay? So I want to read something to you, because for a lot of people get confused about an LLC and a sole proprietorship, or if you're going to be an S-Corp or a C-Corp, corporations and partnerships, and what all that actually means and what that actually entails. So I'm going to really spend a moment and make sure that everybody gets this part. So if you have not grabbed a pen and a paper, this is really some of the meats and potatoes of the foundation of your business. When you start a business, okay, the IRS requires you to pay self-employment tax or file taxes and claim the amount that you earned for your self-employment if you make more than $600 for the calendar year. So depending on what you're doing, if you're moving and shaking on an Etsy or a Shopify platform, you're going to make more than $600 a year, which means you're going to have to claim that. You're going to have to file taxes. So let's kind of break this down just a little bit, right? So anything that stands strong needs a solid foundation. Think of a house of cards. If it's built wobbly and you blow, it's all going to come tumbling down. Or the three little pigs with the, the house made out of straw, out of sticks, and out of bricks, right? Bricks was the only one that withstood the little blowing down of that wolf because it was strong. It had a sturdy foundation, and that's how you want to actually build your business. So I'm going to take the time and actually word for word read this out for you so there is no misconstruing of actually the setup of your business. Okay, so I know it may seem a little bit monotonous, but you're going to be able to go back over this video and you're going to be able to stop, pause, and write down. But I really want to make sure that you get this information. And if anybody is here watching and I don't see any type of comments or anything going, I apologize to you because I don't see it. I don't see if anybody's making any comments. If you have any questions or anything, give me a holler, chime in and do let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So let's talk about still our, how we're going to set our business up, right? So in reading this specifically, it says for IRS purposes, an LLC with only one person is going to be designated or combined with your personal taxes. Did you hear that? For IRS purposes, if it's only one person that is going to be designated under your LLC, it is automatically, an LLC is automatically going to be filed under your personal taxes. Okay, so let's go. I just want to make sure nobody's chiming in with any questions right now, just to make sure. All right. So let's see. And so it says the business is considered part of you unless otherwise specified by filing a specific form. Meaning if you're just one person and you don't want to have your business filed on your personal taxes as the IRS is asking you to do, then you have to actually file a separate form, and it is a form 8832 requesting that your business be then yourself. Okay, so if you're filing as an LLC, it's going on your personal taxes unless you file an 8832 with the IRS to designate otherwise. Okay. So it says typically a sole proprietor files his or her business taxes using a Schedule C profit and loss statement, and it is filed along with the Form 1040 on your personal income tax statement. Again, if you have set your business up as an LLC and it's just one person, it's just you, nobody else, your business taxes get filed with your personal taxes on a Form 1040 with a Schedule C on April 15th with your personal taxes. Okay, so what is an LLC? An LLC actually stands for a limited liability company. You can have one owner or you can have multiple owners. You can have partnerships and corporations all built under an LLC, but an LLC stands for a limited liability company. So how do you do that, right? How do you actually set that up? Okay, if you would like to set your business up as an LLC, that designation as LLC is actually falling underneath your state government. Listen to what I say. So, I wanted to go ahead and register my business. Okay, I wanted to register my business as an LLC. So I live in the state of Georgia, right? So what I did was I actually went to Google and did a little type in, and I typed in Secretary of State. Secretary of State is the website that is going to register your business. So let me kind of back up just a little bit. You got to have a business name. Now that you found your passion and you know what you want your business to be, right? Okay, so I want to do a small business advertising, Helena, because your passion is your creativity, helping people, and running your mouth, right? So, and all of my years of government customer service. So I decided to do what's poppin'. So I had to go, okay, I want to register my business. How do I do that, right? What you do, like I said, I went to Google and I typed in whatever state you're in. I typed in Georgia, Secretary of State. The website pops up. So I came up with a great name. The first time I tried, I put in What's Poppin', because that was the song that was popular at the time with Jack Harlow, What's Poppin'. But I put What's Poppin' Atlanta because I live in Metro Atlanta. So What's Poppin' Atlanta? Guess what? On the Secretary of State website, you will see to register your business. But you got to make sure that your business name isn't taken. What's Poppin' Atlanta was already taken. It was already taken. But that's okay, because I was like, well, Atlanta, I had the forethought of this. Well, you know what? I might want to expand one day. I don't want to just stay in Atlanta. I want to be the whole 50 states, right? So that's where I came up with USA. Well, you know what? Let me try on this Secretary of State website, What's Poppin' USA. And guess what? Whatever, it's available, right? So now you got to snag it to make sure nobody else takes it. And this is where you designate how you're registering your business, because your Secretary of State website is going to ask you several questions. They're asking you, do you have an EIN number, or are you using your Social Security number as a sole proprietor? So do you know what an EIN number is? That is an employer identification number. Employer. As a business, that means you would be the employer, right? So y'all have worked regular jobs before where you got your W-2, and when you got a W-2 and you had to go file your taxes, they make you put in that it's like 2 digits and then a dash and then, several digits after, and that's the employer identification number, the EIN number of the business that is paying you on that W-2. Guess what? That EIN number, if you need one, if you decide to get one for your business, tag, you're it. That's you. You are now going to be the employer. So now if you go ahead and you would have employees underneath you, when you issue them a W-2 or you issue them a 1099 as a contractor, and the government says, well, who is it that's paying these people? You, with your EIN number, your registered business, and they know who is paying it, and then that person's Social Security number, so they know who you are paying it to. See how it all comes full circle? So depending on how you actually set your business up is important. You can have people work for you and underneath you using your Social Security number, but it's best really to do it the legitimate way and apply for an EIN number. And when you do that, you would be going to irs.gov, Same place you go to look up to see where your refund is at or where your stimulus payment was at them couple of years ago, right? That same website, irs.gov, and you type in EIN number, EIN, and you can go ahead and set up an EIN number for your business. An EIN number is essentially a social security number for your business that identifies your business. Okay, so when you go to register for the Secretary of State, they're going to say, hey, well, how is your business registered? Is it registered with your social? Because we need that. If it's not registered with your social, if it's registered with your EIN number, we need that, right? And then they're going to ask you a couple other questions. Do you have any other people that you want to claim to work underneath your business as like appointees or other partners or any, people authorized, all that kind of stuff. They ask you that. And then there's a fee. And it's usually between $15 and $100 to file to register your business. And that is an annual registration. So that is something that you're going to have to, and I mean calendar year. So I started with What's Poppin' and registered it in July of 2021. Guess what? I just had to register this business again in January because it's calendar year. They don't care that you've only been, you were already 7 months into the year before you started your business. Oh well, we need that other amount to keep you going for the next month. So it's a calendar year. Okay. So you are going to need to go ahead and claim that. Now, something that they will ask you for, I know I'm throwing a lot of information out at you, so I hope that you have a pen and a paper, and y'all really get this book because I'm taking notes and stuff even in the book as I wrote the book. And I'm the entrepreneur, but I wrote some pretty good shit in here. I forgot what I wrote, and I'm taking some notes even for my own business with what I wrote, right? So there's some good information in here. And again, I'll put the link up. It is on the What's Poppin' USA store. This is Make Your Small Business Dreams Come True, Lena's easy peasy guide and journal to starting a small business. And it's the step-by-step. So I'm only on chapter 2. Okay, I'm only on chapter 2, and so much information to give to y'all. So as you're setting, this is very important though, as you're setting your business up with the Secretary of State, whatever state that you live in, one of the things that they're going to ask you for is your principal business activity code, meaning what do you do? Every business, whether you're a massage therapist, a doctor, whether you are an actor, whether you make lighters, it doesn't matter. Every industry actually has a code associated with it. And it's called an NAICS code. Okay, this code, like I said, it's a principal activity code that tells you, or that tells the government per se, what your actual activity as your business is. Because with What's Poppin' USA, they don't know what I do, right? But the principal activity code that I put into the computer is going to tell them, oh, she does, event organization or advertising or, marketing, advertising. They're going to know that by the code. Okay, when you are an e-commerce small business, this is where please put your listening ears on because this is extremely important. When you are an e-commerce online retailer, your NAICS code is always one thing. Whether you sell pens, lighters, remote controls, telephones, computer mice, it doesn't matter. Online e-commerce retailer code that you would use to identify your business is 454110. Again, that's 454110. Okay. This code again lets the government identify what type of business you actually are. Because the name of your business might not have, Chef Helena's, eatery. With that, they know I'm cooking or I'm a baker or whatever, right? Something to do with food. But because it just says What's Poppin' USA, they wouldn't know what I do. So this code for online retailer, e-commerce seller selling a product, no matter what you sell, is always 454110. Okay? All right. So now that you've registered your business and nobody else has that name and you put in that code and you paid your couple of dollars, guess what? You're a business now! You're a business now! You're a business now! You're a business now. How cool is that, right? That's really cool. Okay, but time out just a second. Because there is another kind of governmental part, and this actually has to do also with the state that you reside in. Okay, if you live, the following states can turn their ears off. If you reside in the following states, you don't have to even listen to this part. You can not listen to me, right? If you reside or live in Alaska, the state of Delaware, Montana, Oregon, or New Hampshire, y'all don't have any sales tax. And by that, rest of the country, that means when you go to buy clothing or items or whatever, and you go to the store, they don't charge you any sales tax on checkout. So when I grew up in Connecticut, a couple of my friends and I used to go up to Burlingame, New Hampshire, every so often to shop because we didn't have to pay the sales tax. I'm just saying. Just like people that move to Florida because they don't have income tax, right? So they don't tax your check, your income tax. Different states have different benefits. But in these particular 5 states, Alaska, Delaware, Montana, Oregon, and New Hampshire, there is no sales tax. Okay. The reason why I'm even bringing this up is because the rest of y'all that sell tangible products, meaning that you sell something that people can actually touch, y'all have to charge sales tax. And you have to apply to your state to be able to collect that sales tax. And that sales tax does not just go in your pocket. You actually have to hold on to and remit that sales tax to your state as the employer. And depending on how much sales tax you collect, depends on how often you have to file a sales tax application, or a sales tax return to your actual state government, right? So most often would be once a month. If you, like I said, have an Etsy shop or a Shopify and you get a lot of people that shop from within your state, and I'll clarify this in a moment, in just a second, with all of those that are shopping within your state, then, and you're turning over hand over fist and you're making a lot of money, you got to report that and you got to collect that sales tax. So what happens is, again, Google is our friend. We're going to go to Google and we're going to type in whatever state you live in. For me, it's Georgia. Georgia Department of Revenue sales tax. And you're going to look for the regulations. It's going to tell you if you are required to collect and remit sales tax to them. And if so, you're going to actually have to apply to them. Just like you registered your business, you're actually going to have to fill out an application and apply. And you're going to need that little NAICS code, right? To say what you're doing. And they'll let you know whether or not you are accepted to collect sales tax. If you have to remit sales tax, again, depending on how much you sell, what your volume is, You may or may not have to file that often. The most often you have to file is once a month. Depending on how much you earn, maybe it's quarterly that you file, or some folks that don't sell that much, they only have to do it once a year, okay? But it depends on your state, and it depends on the amount of sales tax. They say anticipated, what you anticipate how much you're going to collect, and that's what it's based on, whether you file monthly, quarterly, or annually. And it's not the same as filing your personal taxes, like your federal taxes that are due on April 15th. No. Most states, if you file annually, it's due on January 15th. If you file quarterly, it's going to be due on the 15th of that quarter. So it'll be due January 15th, then it'll be due March 15th. Okay? Every 3 months rather. Okay? If you're filing monthly, then it's going to be the 15th of every month. You have to submit your actual tax return, sales tax return, calculate it, and then send a check in under your business. So there's a lot that goes along with being a legitimate business, having that foundation. How many small businesses are out there not collecting sales tax, scooting around it, right? I'm just asking. I mean, it's up to you, I'm just saying, we're talking about a strong foundation, and you want to have a strong foundation from the beginning, because what if this grows and really, this grows into something that can carry you and that you can sustain and maintain. You don't want all these, your subfloor, your crawl space. You don't want it leaking and bugs and, squirrels and possums living up underneath there. You need your foundation nice and clean, right? So make sure your business foundation, your registered business, if you need an EIN number for your business, go ahead and do that. If you don't know if you need one or not, it's in the book. It breaks down if you're a sole proprietor, an S-Corp, a C-Corp, a partnership. If you need an EIN number or a social, and it tells you if you can have partners, shareholders, what tax form to file. I'm telling you, it's in here, y'all. So let's go ahead and skip ahead, right? So that was chapter 2. So now we've got to talk about, you've got your business, you're registered, and you know what you're going to do. Are you a product or are you a service? And let me just touch on services, because sales tax is a definite, unless you live in those 5 states. And those 5 states were Alaska, Delaware, New Hampshire, Montana, and Oregon. Everybody else has to charge sales tax. Services are kind of funny. Some states make you charge sales tax when you provide a service. If you house clean, if you detail a car, if you babysit, if you, restaurant, I don't know, different services, massage therapist. It depends on what those services are and what the regulations are for your state. So again, if you don't live in one of those 5 states, whether you sell a product or a service, you really need to consult the Department of Revenue for your state. You can just Google it on the website and see what the regulations are for definitely product-driven businesses. But also, if you're a service business, definitely check in and see if it's applicable to you. Okay, so when we start talking about product oriented businesses, I want to harp on, there are different things that go along with it. Is this something that you're making yourself? Is this something that you're actually creating? Like this pen right here. Miss Deandra made this pen for me. So, of course, there is a lag, a wait time, right? A processing time for this to come to me. So, you have to think, is it something that you're making? Is it something that you're ordering and then tinkering with and then sending back out? Is it something that you're drop shipping that's coming to you? Is it something that's drop shipping straight from another company or the shipper, like a t-shirt, and then they're dropping it and shipping it to the actual customer for you, right? So that is actually called drop shipping. So when you are ordering something and that merchandise does not come directly to you, or the merchandise comes directly to you to send out to somebody else, that's called drop shipping. Okay, it's called drop shipping. So whichever way you get it, whether the company gets it, whether the customer gets it directly from you because you've mailed it out after it's been sent to you, or they're actually ordering it from your website, but another company is fulfilling the order and shipping it out for you. That is called drop shipping, point blank. So if you are doing something like that, or you're creating your merchandise, if you have a product-driven business, great. I want to create all this stuff, right? It just so happens that I have a house. I have a 3-bedroom house with a full attic upstairs that's finished. If you're in an apartment, where are you going to stock all this stuff at? Where are you going to store it at? These are things that you want to think about if you're doing a product business. Do you have a basement, a storage space, a garage? Make sure this stuff doesn't get wet. Make sure it doesn't, get little visitors because it's cold now, trying to creep in there and build some nests and stuff. There are so many things that you need to think about. And then with drop shipping, I know, and it's so popular, and I don't always have a problem with it. And let me okay, drop shipping is good. Drop shipping is fine. But I want to talk to you a little about the people who do drop ship. And if you are interested in drop shipping, please, 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 from the bottom of my soul, try and get a hand on the product that you have selected for drop shipping. And the reason why I say that is because if you are not familiar with the quality of a product that you are standing behind, your business is going to tank. Okay? So, case in point, there was a young man that I purchased some basketball shorts from. And, the shorts that he held up on camera were cool. In the pictures that he showed, they were cool. When I got them 6 weeks later, they were very uncool. They were literally sewed together backwards. The strings for the basketball shorts were in the rear. And then typically when you're wearing shorts, you got a little bit of poof or a little bit of give of material, usually in the back where the butt is. That was literally in the front. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. And so I say and caution that if you are going to be drop shipping products, you really must get your hands on that tangible product before and try it out. Even if it's face creams or lotions or makeup products, whatever it is, before you validate it and put it on your website to be sold and drop shipped, whether you're getting it into you and you've got to look at it and say, no, this is some BS, this isn't going to work, needs to go back to the manufacturer because they did a horrible job, and you call them out on it, or, you got that piece, that one single item that you ordered and you checked it out and it wasn't good, and not to put your stamp on it and offer those products or products to your customer. So you really want to vet or screen the products, get them in your hands before they go out to the customers. And that's my soapbox on drop shipping, because I've had very bad experiences with that. So just saying. Okay, I'm done with that. All right, so now let's look at some service-oriented businesses. And, depending on what business you do. Are you a barber, a hairstylist, a massage therapist, a nurse, an accountant? You may need to get some type of a trade license. So again, you need to go on your state website or go into Google and just type in your state and just put trade license. It's most likely going to come up under, I think it's the Secretary of State. I believe it comes up under that website. But if you need a license, then you definitely are going to need to, if you have a service that you perform a service that requires a license, then or a business license, yes, that your trade license, you're definitely going cosmetology, nail technician, all of that requires a trade or business license through your state that you're going to have to maintain and to keep up certification for. So please be aware of that, on top of possibly having to have sales tax added to that and registering your actual business trade name and all of that, right? So there's a lot to setting up that foundation. Right. So just like I kind of had the issue with products sometimes with drop shipping and, the quality really of those products, when making products, you also want to make sure, of course, you're turning out good products. But let's talk about service a little bit, because you're not giving something to the customer, right? You're not giving something to them. You're giving them basically yourself. Your skills, your knowledge. You're selling yourself. You're selling basically your personality and how you come off, because you can be the most skilled, wonderful person. But if you're a jackass and nobody wants to deal with you, you're not going to get any business, right? So it's all about you, how you present, your personality, how I like to call your business etiquette, right? Your customer service. So be very mindful, because when you're selling a service, you're selling yourself. If you're just a dick right off the bat, they don't even want to know what you can do for them, because they can't get past the personality. And if you come off to, oh, honey child, and sappy sweet, kind of like Paula Deen, like that real drippy, that is so friggin' fake. Nobody wants to deal with that either. So I say this because you really want to be consistent with your presentation, with your customer service, with your presentation of yourself. Because if you're here one day and you're la 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 la, and then the next day you're just like barking at somebody, and then you're high strung the next day, it's like I got a mental illness. So I'm just going to be serious about this for a second. I suffer from mental illness, y'all. So this is no joke on people that have mental illness. But back to the jokes. Y'all can't be bipolar with these damn customers. They don't know which version of you they're going to get, right? Like, for real. You cannot be cool one day and just be a jackass the next. You have to be consistent. And so that is dealing with products and selling them to customers, but that's also, especially when you're a service and you have to get past, or they have to get past your personality, and you have to be inviting but not a jerk. You have to be inviting but not a whore. You got to be inviting and just be like a normal, approach them like they're a normal person, okay? So product versus service. So now I want to go into chapter 4. And chapter 4 is logos and representation. And that is, what does your logo, something called branding. Branding is your look, your personality. Branding basically is the personality of your business. What does your branding say about your business's personality? Under branding, we have a couple of things that we got to look at, right? So under branding, so first of all, when I first started What's Poppin', I had it, like I told you, What's Poppin' Atlanta. And when I thought of Atlanta, I was thinking, okay, Atlanta is the location. So I had the little red location sign, like on a map that said Atlanta, right? But, okay, what's poppin' Atlanta? Okay, but it didn't tell me exactly what the business did. What was it? So I had to kind of pivot a little bit, and especially when I found out that Atlanta was taken, right? So I went to USA because I wanted to make it bigger, thinking bigger, having these bigger goals, the forethought to have expansion in mind. So bigger goals, well, I primarily deal with small business and shopping, hence the shopping bag, USA shopping bag. So what's poppin'? Shopping bag. So you know that something to do with United States is popping, shopping is popping in the U.S., something like that, right? You're right along those lines. Got it on the nose. So the idea is to, that logo that we're going to break down, your branding, that logo to be recognizable. Let's think about what logos we know without seeing the words. Can we think of McDonald's? You can see that giant M anywhere. It doesn't have to say how many billions are sold. It doesn't have to say, Arnold's. It just has to say, that's it. And we know what it is. Think about it. What about, just hold these up. What about this one? Walmart, Chevy, Pepsi, McDonald's. You know what these logos are without me even having to put the words there. And that is brand recognition. Their logos stand out so much, are so well known, that they don't even have to put the name on them. Nothing else but the picture. That's brand recognition. Okay. You want your logo to speak for you. Soon enough, all y'all are going to see is this little purse or this little shopping bag with the USA. And y'all are already going to know what it is. I'm not going to have to put what's popping. All you're going to see is this and already know. Just like McDonald's, Pepsi, Walmart, Target, the Target bullseye, right? All of that is brand recognition. So your logo is what people are going to see and what people are going to automatically form an opinion of your business about. As soon as they see it, they're going to be like, okay, that logo means. So let's think about bringing it all together. Your logo, your colors, your font. What does it all mean? So let's think of something kind of like fancy, right? Think of something like super fancy with scrolly writing and all these flourishes and frills and stuff, with maybe like roses. And would you put that on a daycare flyer? Or is that more towards maybe like a wedding event space, or like, I don't know, sympathy stationery or something like that? Right? Think about it. On the flip, if you had a little red house with a little sun and it's drawn in crayon, right? Like a crayon type font, and you use that as your logo, does that say bougie, high class, Gucci, level type products and services? Nah, that say my kid did this in kindergarten, right? Something towards children, maybe children's books, maybe a children's playhouse, maybe advertising for a flyer for a children's event, right? There's a difference. So when you think of logos and representation and branding, What does this say? What does it say about you? What does it say about your company? Right? Because your company is always a little bit of your personality. If you're a little bit ratchet, your company's probably going to be a little bit ratchety too. The products that you have, the services that you get. I'm just kind of like the flair of it. It reflects your personality. If you that sophisticated ratchet, it's going to reflect that too. Right? So it just depends. You know what I mean? I'm pretty plain. This is a super plain, straight to the point, no frills, right? That's me. That's how you see me. I'm plain, straight to the point, no frills. And this logo is very indicative of my personality, right? Kind of fun, little cricket, little puffy type, font and writing, a little fat and quirky and stuff. Fun, my personality, right? So your logo and the font that you use is going to tell you what your business personality is going to be. And so what is that going to be? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know anything about, how to come up with a logo, right? Maybe it's a picture of yourself. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a flower, or maybe it's, I don't know, if you're a plumber, maybe it's a faucet with the drip coming out of it. It depends, right? So if you can't come up with anything or you're having difficulty, there is no shame in the game of raising your hand and asking for assistance, right? So for those who are good and savvy with computers, you may want to look at a website called Canva, and that's canva.com. And with Canva, it's free. They do have some paid aspects if you want some of the more intricate or, saucier like clip art and videos and stuff like that. But other than that, it's really easy to use. It's cut and drag. You shouldn't have any issues or problems or anything. But if you're still just like, dude, I cannot come up with a logo, there is no shame in asking for help. And so what I'll say is there are folks that do logo design and such for you, and I will go ahead and give you some of those other folks that you can contact a little bit later. But just for the moment, I am going to go ahead and take a quick break and just run and get a glass of water, because I have been going and going, and I need just a second. And I can't even put this up because give me a second, y'all. You can hear me talking, but I'm just gonna get some water. And then we'll keep moving. So let's see. All right, so there we go. Got my water bottle. All right, loves. So we talked about our logos and representation and what our logo says about our business, right? So, if we are an earthy, crunchy business and we deal with, like plants or gardening or so, maybe our logo is a sprout, and the colors, right? The colors, think about it. If something is earthy, crunchy, as I like to call it, what kind of colors would you use for something that's earthy, crunchy? Earth tones, browns, maybe some deep golds or marigolds, deep greens, not black, but maybe like charcoal, like a dark, charcoal or a muddy type burnt siennas, and, those earthy, earth type tones. You wouldn't put something that's screaming like bright red, or unless it was a rose, but you wouldn't put something that's screaming like bright orange. Usually earthy, crunchy is more subdued, more woosah, right? So again, if it's spa, if you're a therapist or a massage therapist or a mental health therapist, you want your branding and your logo and your representation to be cool, calming colors, maybe light slate blues or slate grays, or like sea moss greens or sage greens, like nice and calming cloud type colors. You don't want something that's screaming in your face, that's going to agitate, right? So think about that when you think about representing and the personality of your business. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and talk about communication, because this is a big one. Communication is both verbal and nonverbal. Meaning, if I am attentive and I'm interested in what you have to say, I'm like, right? I've got my hands like I'm open, I'm listening, I'm leaning forward, I'm listening to you, right? I'm listening to what you have to say. That's nonverbal communication. But what does this say? I'm listening. I hear you. I'm listening. I am listening. See the difference? Nonverbal communication. What cues are you giving off when you come across to your customers? And the way we speak, the way we communicate. I always say, your communication and your behavior, your business etiquette, the communication is the voice of your business. So, case in point, say you get a referral from somebody, right? They haven't seen a logo, they just got a word of mouth, and they send you a text message or an email. And you happen to have a stank fucking attitude that day because somebody done pissed you off, right? And do you think that customer isn't going to feel that attitude? You want to really be careful. Have you ever talked on the phone to somebody? Right? Talking on the phone, and I'm talking on the phone, so I'm talking on the phone. Yep, I'm talking on the phone. But what happens when I start smiling? Can you tell that I'm still talking on the phone? Even though see, there's a difference, right? Because I'm smiling. It makes such a difference when you deal with the customers. I'm telling you, that bipolarishness when it comes to interacting with your customers is no bueno. Be consistent. Be professional. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. Even if you're not in the South or in Texas, let's show some respect. These are potentially paying customers and clients that are coming to you. Start off on the right foot. Address them properly. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Thanks for reaching out about such and such. How may I help you? It's not, yeah, what do you want? No, we don't do that. That communication. So as we go along like that, right? Let's talk about actually communicating with our customers. Okay, first thing I will say is professional at all times. And so you always want to take it to that professional level. Meaning, unless you have a full business cell phone, I would try to avoid text messaging customers on your private phone. Because these folks are going to hit you up at 2 and 3 in the morning. If they got a question that just popped into their head, and before they forget about it, they just got to get it out. It happens. Have a designated business phone for your customers if you're going to go that route. Do not use your personal email. Please, 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 when you conduct business, always have a business email. Okay, so let's talk about this. Business emails that are acceptable. You either purchase a domain email. Purchase one, like my website is that'swhatspoppin.com. So it would be Helena. If I used the website, it would be Helena at that'swhatspoppin.com. I don't use that, but that's what it would be. Purchase the domain. Purchase the email domain, okay, for your business. Or you're going to use Gmail or AOL. Do not use Hotmail. And do not use Yahoo. Those are considered spammy and less professional. Please use either, preferably, your own email domain or Gmail or AOL. Do not use, again, I repeat, Hotmail under any circumstances at all. And Yahoo, kind of iffy also. And when you create your business name, your business logo, your business email, and your business social media, branding dictates consistency throughout all. You will notice everywhere on every single one of my social media platforms, it is What's Poppin' USA. Except for Instagram, where I had to put What's Poppin' _USA. But everything else is What's Poppin' USA. Consistency across the board through everything. Social media name. Your email should be as close to your business name as possible. Your social media usernames logon names and usernames should be as close to your business name as possible. And where appropriate, use your business logo or name as the actual profile picture. Because why? It builds brand identity. Because here's a nugget. You are going to have to keep identifying and introducing yourself until you no longer have to. Again, you are consistently going to need to introduce yourself to people constantly. Keep doing it until you no longer have to. There will come a point when I don't have to introduce myself to people. They're going to be like, oh, I know you. You're Lena from What's Poppin' USA. Goddamn right. Always consistency, brand identity, the personality of your brand, consistency. Everything needs to be consistent across the board, always and forever. Or hold your peace, okay? Has to be, because that will give you that solid foundation to springboard off of, okay? Solid foundation. So as we're talking about social media and your email, again, email, business email, not personal email. We don't want no big juicy 808, no kitty cat _69, no Hella Berkeley 510. We don't want those. Unless your company is called Hella Berkeley 510, that better not be your business email. Okay? Be consistent. And then we're also talking about our social media. Do not use your personal social media platform for your business. Create, don't be lazy. You can manage more than one. That's what you got into business for, right? To be your own boss, so to manage. So this is what, put on the big girl panties and big boy drawers and go ahead and do what you're supposed to. So it's consistency. Don't use your personal stuff for business, okay? So let's get into just real high overview of some of the social media platforms and basically what they are used for for business. And then we're going to be almost really, wow, we only got really halfway. Let's see, where are we at? We're only in chapter 5. And I'm already at an hour and a half. Or an hour and 20 minutes. We're rolling. So I might have to break this in half and do a second half of a show because this is a lot of information to digest all at once. But I do want to get through this chapter 5, and this is on social media. Okay. So let's talk about social media. There are so many different platforms out there, and not every business needs to be on every social media platform. Just doesn't need to be. So I want to go ahead and highlight some of the main ones that are out here and kind of what they're used for, okay? So first we have Pinterest, and it's great for photos. Good for fashion, jewelry, makeup, bridal, and things of that nature. It's good for crafters, decorators, and designers. You can grow a large following on Pinterest by organizing, and logically, appealingly, putting all of your folders and pictures and making it pretty. It's like having like a digital scrapbook is what Pinterest thinks of. It's like a digital portfolio or a digital scrapbook in my mind is how Pinterest, I see it. Instagram is great for pictures and video highlights. And it kind of took the world by storm with all of that verses, right, during COVID. And there are a lot of fake stuff coming up there, like a lot of knockoffs and high-end knockoff e-commerce businesses. It tends to go towards like a youngish crowd, a lot of celebrities, really saturated, with a lot of Instagram models and stuff like that. And they really do push the boundaries of inappropriateness as far as nudity. And it can be really spammy and scammy with people chiming into your inbox constantly and jumping in on your post feeds and comments and stuff. So, but it is excellent for live streaming. Excellent. You can invite guests to live stream with you, and you can actually schedule a stream. So that's wonderful. And then once you finish the stream, you can actually go back and download it also, which is actually pretty cool on Instagram. The next big one is Facebook. And I would say that this is the biggest one that most people are familiar with. And with this one, though, I see it as really the most unassuming platform to really navigate, but it's got a lot of tattletales on there. And I say that because it caters to kind of like an older crowd and people that have more like family oriented, and so they don't tolerate a lot of silliness or blunders, and they're quick to report and complain. And Mark Z, if y'all ain't been in Facebook group yet, Facebook jail yet, he will put you in some Facebook jail for like days and months and weeks at a time, where you can't post or comment or anything on Facebook. So Facebook is kind of like tattletale-ish. But again, it's really good because they have a lot of the groups that you can join to make them public and private. You can have business pages and personal pages at the same time, e-commerce shops. You can schedule events both online and offline, like I have, paid, do tickets, sell stuff. There's all types of stuff you can do on Facebook, but it may not be the only platform for your business, because depending on what your business is, Facebook is more family and group type oriented. Okay. Let's see. And then we also have TikTok, and like for realsies, TikTok is something else. TikTok is a beast. Like I said, being an older chick, I was really scared of TikTok, but I think I've mastered it pretty well so far. And I just started in December, and we're in March now, and I have over 6,400 subscribers or followers, which is pretty cool on my part. Thank you, thank you. But you know, TikTok is more gritty. It's more raw footage. It's people up there trying to do stuff and their fails, being stupid, being silly. It's not a lot of edited, you know, professionally edited and tailored video. It's very raw and gritty, and it's very unassuming in that way. So if you're not polished at social media and being in front of people, TikTok is so much more forgiving, and they will laugh with you instead of laughing at you, which I like. Whereas, you know, like I said, with Facebook, they're a little more like this kind of, it seems cliquish to me. Like, remember the mean girls in high school, kind of like, or the cool kids that were dicks to everybody else and the jocks? That's kind of what Facebook seems like to me. They're kind of cliquish, especially in some of the groups. But TikTok, it's just like everybody's just out there doing their own thing, and it's fun. And you can rise to fame very quickly and go viral, you know what I mean, on TikTok, and be like an overnight instant sensation. So TikTok I love because of that, because there's a lot more banter and actual interaction with people, and it's not so, but they are very harsh on as far as you can't whip a titty out or show, you know, dildos, or so no nudity, no smoking and drinking or anything, because TikTok actually is open for the masses. And so if you're on a video or you're putting up stuff that's inappropriate, children, young kids that have access to TikTok can jump on. And if you're on a live presentation or a live, you know, as they call it on TikTok, and anybody can jump on and watch you, not even just your watchers or your followers. Anybody who has access to TikTok can jump on and watch you. So that's what's cool about TikTok. Like on Instagram, on Facebook, only those people who actually follow you can watch you. But on TikTok, anybody all over the world can watch you at any given time if you go live or your posts are on there, which is really cool. So TikTok for me is like winner, winner, chicken dinner. So next we're going to go, oh, and it's good for like if you have if you make a product or you perform a service, TikTok is great for that, because you can make videos of you kneading dough or doing your massage therapy on somebody's feet, or, you know, reflexology or whatever, making your ashtrays and swirling glitter and resin. You can actually make videos of that and put that on TikTok. So that's how cool TikTok is. Again, like I said, winner, winner, chicken dinner with me. All right. So the next two the next one is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is very professional and career driven. So this is more, you know, you've got your suits, your job seekers, and those companies that are looking to hire professionally. That's more what you're going to see on LinkedIn. You can upload your resume and build a resume, share informational links and videos and photos in your connection network, but it truly is a business, a suit business, corporate type environment, not at all like TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, something completely different. And so depending on what your business is, LinkedIn may or may not be suitable for you. Okay. And then the last one I actually touch on is YouTube, and it is strictly a video-based platform. You can stream live in it, and you can stream live to it, say from StreamYard or Zoom or Restream. You can have like a third-party Restream program where you record on one and it shoots your video out simultaneously to different social media platforms. So YouTube is strictly video based. You can either do shorts like reels, like short little snippets of videos, or you can do full-length videos. You could have podcast type situations. You can teach somebody how to fix the leaky sink. You can, do how-tos and trainings, or you can give advice, read poetry, teach people how to potty train their kid, teach people how to, do their hair or put dreadlocks in. Like, there's multiple things you can do video-wise to teach your audience, to engage with your audience. And they do actually have a community discussion board also, where you can post information like a chat room type thing, community board for your YouTube channel. But again, all of your social media platforms need to be of your brand or your social media logo. That is what Lena says, and Lena speaks. So, y'all, we are at an hour and a half. I have been gabbing to you guys for the last 90 minutes. So I am going to go ahead and shut this workshop down for the day. And if you are interested, again, in purchasing this book and following through, actually going back through this video and going ahead and following through with this book so you can get all of your details in there, doing the worksheets for finding out what your passion is and what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and ideas of what you might be good at, and business ideas. Decide what type of business entity you want to be. Do you want to be a partnership? Do you have a buddy that you want to go in with and you're going to partner up with and have a partnership? Are you just going to do it solo and be a sole proprietor or an LLC? How are you going to do this? All of these different things you can work through in the workbook. So again, this is called Make Your Small Business Dreams Come True, Lena's Easy Peasy Guide and Journal to Starting a Small Business. And it is available on Amazon. If you don't do Amazon or you want to bypass it and hit me up directly, just go ahead and shoot me a message. $25 shipped to your door. I do have some in stock, and you can go ahead and probably get it quicker than you would on Amazon. I'll shoot it on over to you so you can get working on it and set your business up the proper way. All right, y'all, it has been a pleasure. Make sure you go ahead and follow What's Poppin' USA on all of our social media platforms. And this has been Lena S. I'm speaking to you, coming at you, dropping all that good knowledge, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day.